Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Whitney. My name is Megan Hoyer. I'm the Director of Public Programs and Public Engagement here. And I'm delighted to welcome you this evening with Vector. As you will hear more about in a moment, Vector is an artist-run journal. Each issue is devoted to and organized around a city, but beyond that, as I understand it, artists are given complete creative freedom. So when Ellie Krakow, been practicing that, did I get it right? Krakow, the editor of the amazing New York-based issue 8, which is hot off the presses, and I hope you picked it up on your way in. When Ellie approached me about the possibility of the Whitney hosting a launch event, I immediately thought, yes, because the Whitney is a museum that, from its founding, has been a gathering place for artists and an institution that is devoted to fostering an artistic community in our city. The group of artists who Ellie selected for the issue reflects an incredible cross-section of our city's creative community. Some of them have a long history with the Whitney, and others we are just getting to know, and I'm so happy that you're all here tonight with us. So the event this evening reflects the diversity of practices included in this issue of Vector, as well as Ellie's sensitive and thoughtful selection of projects. So I'm thrilled to introduce her to say a bit more about the project. So please join me in welcoming Ellie Krakow.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Megan, for the introduction and for welcoming us to have this event here. I'm really thrilled to be here tonight. It's been such a wonderful experience to get to guest edit Vector, and an amazing experience to work with each of the artists involved. For those of you who are not familiar with Vector, as Megan described, each issue is dedicated to a particular city. This one's based in New York. Other cities that it's been organized in include Oslo, Berlin, Bergen, and Toronto, and the upcoming issues will be in Mexico City and in Munich. The goal of the journal is that it serves as a platform for artists to have complete creative freedom. It's a unique premise, and basically there's no thematic constraints, there's no edits, there's no style constraints, and it's an unusual thing to be given a platform like this. The only constraints are that each essay has to be 1 to 10 pages in length and in black and white. Vector is a project of Peter Gregorio and Javier Barrios, who are here with us in the front row. When Peter approached me and said, "Would you like to guest edit this journal?" I thought, oh, that sounds great. But it turns out, in addition to being a very freeing project, it's a bit of a puzzling project to try to organize something that has complete creative freedom. So when I set out to select contributors, I was trying to think of a frame for it. I really wanted the journal to both reflect my own artistic practice and reflect the breadth of the city that it was based in. And in order to do these two kind of seemingly opposing things, I decided to choose a few themes from my own practice and use them as a guiding principle for the selections and kind of think of them pointing out in a broad range of ways. The themes that I chose to work with are the body as a container for memory, using mirroring or the mirror as a potential site for transformation, and manipulating language as a way of recontextualizing and reframing and renaming. I think if you take a journal, you should definitely take a journal. They look like this. If you didn't get one already, they're in the front. Get one on your way out. But I think you'll find that the issue is very open and expansive, as is Vector's mission, and also that it does reflect these particular guiding themes. I think you'll also find that it's very reflective of New York City and the time of its publication. So tonight, in celebration of the release of the journal, several of the contributing artists are going to be doing performances and readings. The evening borrows its form from the journal in that the performances are unconstrained in form and content and only have physical parameters and length parameters. In this case, the projects you see tonight will be 1 to 10 minutes in length, and they're going to fit in this theater. Before we begin, though, I would like to thank a few people. Andreas Papanikolaou and the Norwegian Consulate General of New York for the generous support for the production of the journal, and the Whitney Museum, and especially Megan, Christine, Max, and Zion and Izzy for doing so much hard work and working so closely with us to make this event happen. In lieu of lengthy introductions, I'm simply going to announce the title of each piece before each artist goes on. We're going to begin the program tonight with a U.S. premiere screening of Leslie Thornton's recent piece entitled So Much, Much. Thank you.
Hi. Just calling. Yeah. So, not great, but that's not why I call. I just want, just to say hi. Well, yeah, it was, things are easy, but I just thought I'd see how you're sage. I've been, want to see you, and just want to see, so you always have a good reading of things, how you were processing this selection. No, that's completely irrational. Yeah, right. Like that's too coded. It's too coded into a lot. Yeah. Well, yeah, but the what? Oh, yes. Oh, I know. Yeah. The way I think it's like in people. That's like what I don't was, and it doesn't matter. It's so. She said, yeah, this morning. She said that somebody had said to her it was like we. I can't say it as eloquently, but we didn't. We took him. That makes that we were all taken. It didn't matter, but not literally. It's good. Yeah. Or that it didn't matter. No, except to attack. No, there's nothing. Yeah, concrete. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's always like that. Yeah. Oh, go home. And so he's coming out at 3:25, and then the internet went down. Our television went off, and it just at the minute that they were going to cut to him to at exactly this point when it was going to cut to their headquarters, our internet fizzled out, and I couldn't get it back on. I unplugged the router and plugged it back in, and then an hour later, I was trying to do things still lying asleep. With my phone, and then I thought, well, I'll try it once more, and I turned it on, and there was a clip of him. I unplugged the router, waited, got the TV back on. Then there was a clip of him just as I turned it on with the little snippet, and then the same thing happened. It lasted about 30 seconds, and then it froze on the TV just like it had before, and our router started going crazy. Orange, green, orange, and it was gone again. And then right before I went to bed, I saw it was all up again. I had rebooted her, and it wasn't our router, so it was either that there was a sudden surge in internet use. It was so massive by using all the cameras and everything that it was hacked, because it was so precise. It was really strange. And I went out to get ice cream around 9 last night. It was like a kind of cool. But of course they were covering all. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, well, on both of the other channels we watched. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, right. Oh, just the same. On the local, I recorded some of what they were saying, because it was like end of days, and then they showed pictures that nobody else was showing of, because we watched and blocked out all people. Yes, yeah. Yep, she's a spy. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I know. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't necessarily matter anything. Yeah, that'll help, but it's something will happen around this. Something will happen. No, yeah. yeah, 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 no, he didn't, yeah, 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 grass, yeah, where is that? No, where is that? The tall grass skirt, right, yeah, 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 oh, yeah, 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 well, it's agribusiness, it's toxic, yeah, yeah, right, yeah, 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 that's a good idea, maybe tomorrow, or, yeah, that's good. I have to go, okay, right, and then I'm a single star. They look like angels, and they also look like they're in military formation. But I'll have to come back and get a better demonstration of that. And risking my life, but if anything happens, there'll be a nice record of my last few moments. Wow.
Composition of individual choruses not only varies with the habitat, but with the region. Some sample choruses will illustrate. One recorded near Tucson, Arizona, following a summer rain, is composed of the Colorado River toad, the Great Plains toad, Couch's spadefoot, and the western spadefoot.
I forgot one thing. Can you please silence your phones if you haven't already? Our first performance is going to be by Julianne Swartz. Oh, nope. That's later, only a little later. It's called Holes, Folds, Tones. Please welcome Julianne Swartz.
Feedback process. Sorry, I'm going to use a feedback process to read the air mass in these vessels and modulate the tones by touching the vessels.
Our next performance is called You Never Know. It's by Amy Khoshbin, performed with Laurie, Berg, and Zavé Martohardjono.
Hello, everyone. Are you with us? Yeah? You feeling okay? Okay, good. We're going to get a little loose, we're going to get serious, then we're going to get loose. So be prepared. Okay. Hello. First of all, happy Pride weekend, everyone. Woo! Yes, we're going to have fun. It is an honor to be here tonight. Thank you all for being here. A huge thanks to supporting Vector, supporting the creators of Vector, Peter and Javier. Ellie Krakow, the amazing curator who brought all of the artists together tonight and in the journal. Woo! And Peter and Javier. Woo! And a huge thank you to the Whitney Museum for having us here and all the incredible staff. Thank you to Laurie Berg and Zavé Martohardjono for performing with me, Gabrielle Laska for costume design, and Michael Clemo for sound design. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Amy Khoshbin. That's me with a different haircut. And I'm an artist and a candidate for City Council in 2021 in District 39 of Brooklyn. So, yes, it's a real political run. This is not just a performance. Yes, thank you for understanding. I'm actually trying to get on the ballot in District 39, which consists of Carroll Gardens, Gowanus, Park Slope, and parts of Kensington. Yeah, vote for me, babies. Yes. So I decided to run for city council because I wanted to shift our culture towards supporting creativity, intersectionality, and diversity. I want equality in education, in affordable housing, and affordable healthcare, and so many other areas of daily life in New York City. I don't want to live in a society of fear and violence, which we see perpetuated around us, and I see the media and creativity as our tools for social change. So when I started this run, I didn't know anything about local politics. It was like, what's a district? But, which is why the run is happening for 2021. We don't need more people in politics that don't know what they're doing. So over the next 3 years, I'm using this run as an information gathering strategy to explore and expose places we have as individuals to change the system from the inside out and the ground up. I'm creating research-based artwork around what the structures of government are to demystify them and to empower and encourage others to vote, to get and stay active, and to even run for office. So on that note, I want you all to mark your calendars for 4 days from now. There's the June 26th federal primary elections. And for those of us that don't know what that means, the primary election is where we're voting candidates on the ballot for the midterm elections in November. And for New York, we're voting 1 out of 2 of our Senate seats and all 27 seats of the House of Representatives. So this is actually a big deal because, as most of us know, all of the parts of government, all the branches, are currently red nationally. And if we get good people on the ballot for the House, we could flip the House. So this is actually a big deal. We also need to mark our calendars for September 13th, for the state primary election. So we're trying to get people on the ballot for the state assembly, all 150 seats. That's like the House of Representatives for the state, and all 63 seats for the Senate, which is different than the federal Senate. It's the state Senate for the state of New York. We're also getting people on the ballot for governor, attorney general, and comptroller. And attorney general and comptroller are the legal and financial counsel for the governor. Finally, with all that work we're doing in the primary, and actually it's not that much work, you just have to go to the poll and vote for 5 seconds. But also do some research. Okay. Don't just go blind. Then we actually vote those great people we got onto the ballot into office on November 6th, both for the federal and the state election. So if you don't know where your polling place is or you're not registered to vote, go to this address on the screen, because it's time to get active and we can actually make some change together this November and starting in 4 days. So my presence in a political arena is a little unlikely as an artist, but I feel like we see more people taking action, which is amazing. One of the other main reasons why I decided to run is because I'm sick of the treatment we see of immigrants in this country, and we're seeing it today on the border, right? Yes, it's nuts. It's nuts, and it's been going on for a very long time. So we need to change it. And my parents, no, not my parents. Look, that's not me. It's a very old picture. My grandparents on my mother's side were Italian deaf immigrants that landed in Philadelphia. And my father was born and raised in Iran and came to the US in the late 1950s as a foreign student. I know, he was obsessed with Elvis. And I grew up with him in Houston, Texas. And I got used to hearing that question all the time, where are you from? And as a kid, it was really confusing to me because I was thinking, well, do they mean Ann Arbor, Nashville, Princeton, Tucson, Houston, or Tehran? Because he's from all of those places. But they wouldn't let up until he said Tehran or Iran. And like clockwork, they'd turn around and say, go back to where you came from. That's horrible to hear. And back in the 1980s, similar to today, there's a ton of xenophobia in this country, as we know. But specifically in the 80s, there was the Iran-Contra affair and the Iranian hostage crisis in the late 70s. So when people saw my dad, what they actually saw was this. This is Khomeini, the leader of Iran at that time, portrayed here as an evil, devilish monster. So it's kind of like no wonder these people were afraid of Iranians. There were images and headlines like this all over the news, portraying Iranians as American-hating terrorists, never showing their side of the story, humanizing them or their political motivations, or showing them as the normal part of the fabric of America. So this term terrorism, currently in Western media, I feel like we associate it with brown bodies and specifically Middle Easterners. But what does the term terrorism really mean? How do we define it? Is it the lone wolf shooters we've seen cropping up all over the place? Is it the police killing black and brown bodies on sight? Or is it the founders of this country who actually stole the land we're on currently from the Lenape and perpetuated a genocide of indigenous people all over the Americas? So we need to shift the narratives that we have around terrorism. We need to shift the xenophobia towards compassion, empathy, and understanding. I see the mainstream media as our tool for social change in an ever-increasingly media-saturated world. So less than 1% of terrorist actions that happen on US soil, hold up, less than 1% of terrorist actions that happen worldwide happen on Western European and American soil. But 70% of headlines in those regions are about terrorism. So fear perpetuated by the media begets violence, okay? On average, 18 deaths from terrorism happen in America per year, but 18,000 deaths happen from homicides in America, and 13,000 of those deaths are from gun violence. So fear perpetuated in the media begets violence. And I was curious about this when I attended the Tanner Gun Show with Kobe Kennedy when we were artists in residence in Colorado. When we went, I was really curious about why people were arming up. When I went around and I asked people, I asked them, why is everyone so scared and why do they feel like they need to protect themselves? And these are some
I don't carry or anything yet. I would like to, but we just go shooting every once in a while. It's just fun. Like, I have a little, like, mini taser, you know, that I carry. So I have something, but I don't know, world's getting crazy.
It's just getting worse. You know, you see school shootings becoming more prevalent. It's like, I don't know why. I don't know what the hell's going on. What are they doing? You know, is it the stupid video games they're playing? One guy, I don't know if you saw it, it was just on TV. I just saw it 2 nights ago. They actually broke into her house when her and her son were in the house. They were showing them kicking the door and some. I don't know where they got the videotape at. I don't remember that part.
What happened? Do you know?
I don't know what the specifics were after that. They just kind of just showed the tape of it.
Yeah. I've never done it. I know.
There's people who are breaking into houses and killing people and stealing kids. It's gotten crazy.
I know.
That's honestly, I hadn't shot in years, and about 3 years ago, I just decided, you know, it's not a bad idea to have a couple guns around.
Right? It's kind of the world's gone crazy. That's what we keep hearing. But my question is, what if we could flip that script through the icons, gestures, and narratives that we perpetuate in the media that we create, through the posts we make and the images that we share? What if it emphasized love, not hatred, understanding and compassion as opposed to fear and aggression? Maybe our reflex would not be to arm up, maybe it would be to disarm. So what is the opposite of a weapon? I asked that question to people at the gun show and all over the country, and what you're seeing on the screen are some of the answers that they gave. An egg, medicine, chocolate, a hug, a parent, things that give life, heal, nurture, give pleasure. A pen for creativity, a bowl, a basket, things to carry objects that we need, a book for knowledge. So the visionary sci-fi author Ursula K. Le Guin wrote an essay called The Carrier Bag Theory of Fiction. And in it, she posits that some of the first tools that humans used were containers, not weapons, containers to carry food and water. What if we could shift our culture towards being containers, containers for one another, holding each other in our hearts and our minds? Containers are all around us. Books hold words, words hold meanings. Shelves hold books, and minds hold meanings. Bodies hold minds. Houses hold bodies. Neighborhoods hold houses, and cities hold neighborhoods. States hold cities. Nations hold states. Continents hold nations, and Earth holds the continents. The Milky Way holds Earth. And on Earth, there are heroes. But the hero story needs to transpose. Hero protagonist wants to slay. There's another fucking way to play. Baby, don't need the sword today. Baby, don't need the gun to slay. Swag sauce off the bottle. Life force is a bottle. Swag from here to cobble. Let go with the throttle. Swag till your bag's full. Bag full like a bowl. Not a band, no way. 99%. Hey, we're ready to descend. No more mindless violence. Break our fucking silence. Wake our inner brilliance. Like we're RuPaul on clearance. Understand just what I meant. Click the button and fucking press send. Carry bag theory of human evolution. We married our wearied limbs with solutions. Containers, the very first form of revolution. Opposite of a weapon, opposite of pollution. Not things to thrust with bash hit. Things to collect, the creation myth. A sling, a sack, a bottle, a box, leaf, net, bag, pot. A thing to hold another thing. Let's shift culture like Arab Spring. Don't need anger in the form of a dong. Long, hard up, fast kills wrong. Weapons to shoot our kids and our moms. Eliminate the hate like the rips along. Bong, another container like Mahjong. Girl club beat like sing along. No more violence. Break our silence. Shine our brilliance. We make a difference. No more violence. Break our silence. Shine our brilliance. We make a difference. Okay, guys, I know it's the Whitney. I know you're sitting down, but you have to get up out of your chairs. Just do it. I know you hate audience participation. Do you guys feel vulnerable? You should. Okay, now you're gonna get more vulnerable. Look at the people next to you, okay, and grab their hand. All right, grab their hand and we're gonna move together and we're gonna watch the screen and we're gonna sing together, okay? Are you ready? Here we go. No more violence. Break our silence. Shine our brilliance. We make a difference. No more violence. Break our silence. Shine our brilliance. We make a difference. One more time. No more violence. Break our silence. Shine our brilliance. We make a difference. Okay, keep moving, dudes. Just keep the energy up. Keep dancing. I'm gonna rap a little bit more. One more stanza. Here we go. Feel your breath and feel your heat. We are bodies, we are we. We are one, we are human, and we are done with the use of a gun. Hold each other in our hearts and our minds. Together we will change the tide. Action we take, every post we make, every vote we cast. Our legacy lasts. Woo! I love all of you. Thank you for participating. Remember to vote. June 26th, September 13th, November 6th. And I am actually running for city council, if you can believe it. So follow my run, tinyscissors.com, DM me. Thank you so much. We can and will change the world. We will do it. Thank you to Zavé and Laurie. We out.
Who's sitting next to you? Nobody, right? I don't know. Was somebody sitting there already? I think you're just sitting now, because I think we're going next. Yeah, we are. Like, how do I go from the Guggenheim to the Whitney within a week? What?
Are you? Our next performance is entitled Mere Echo Tilt. It's a performance, it's a collaboration between Melanie Crean, Shaun Leonardo, and Sable Elyse Smith. And it will be performed tonight by Melanie Crean, St. James, and Kerry.
Is your family Haiti? Is your family Asian?
Hello. I'm Melanie Crean.
I'm St. James.
I'm Kerry.
Mirror Echo Tilt is a project by myself, my two collaborators, Shaun Leonardo and Sable Elyse Smith, Saint, Kerry, and many other people affected by incarceration. A lot of what we do is derived from performance actions that we use to excavate memory, I would call it. So we wanted to give you an example this evening of our process.
So Kerry here is going to offer you guys a frozen gesture. It's basically going to be an image from his own narrative. But the thing is that we're not going to tell you what that story is. We're not going to use no words today. And I'm going to need 6 participants to come up and imagine what this scene is. And you're going to put yourself into the scene as you see fit. So is anyone brave enough to come up?
We will choose for you.
Yeah.
Volunteers are better. Though I have one.
Don't be shy. We won't bite you. I swear. We don't bite.
So is that your gesture?
No, this is not
No?
the gesture. I got you now.
Okay, so if you all hold on
Ready
for
when
a
you are.
second.
Okay. So I want all of you guys to just imagine where Kerry is right now. Is there anybody here? What is he feeling? And I want you guys to sort of insert yourself into here, into this world. You don't need to worry about like doing the same thing as someone else. It has to be 100% authentic, however you see this scene.
There's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
I wouldn't overthink it. Just make a response anywhere in this room that you think completes this image in some way. Go for it. Okay, I'd like everyone just to take a second to absorb this. And think for a second, based on your life, based on what you've experienced, based on media you have seen, heard, and absorbed, what you think is happening.
Now let's think about what's missing here. Is Kerry afraid? Is he experiencing some sort of trauma that was maybe overlooked, or was he just reaching for fun? Or was he running? But you know, there's a bigger picture here. And that bigger picture is that this whole scene isn't Kerry's story at all, and it never could be. And that's not anybody's fault. That's really because we decided to let other people create this story for him. So we really need to think about how the media and the criminal justice system can take somebody's story and have that story spoken through somebody else's words, and how that can sort of create a catalyst for misunderstanding and even apathy at times.
Thank you to our participants. for holding that amazing pose.
Yeah.
So, as a word of explanation, when we talk about re-inhabiting a memory, we're not really talking about imagination, because imagination is privilege, right? To be able to imagine all sorts of different possibilities is a matter of privilege. So we're not really talking about magical thinking, right? We're talking, what we often do is we use different prompts to help people remember in all the details in a scene, not just to know what did happen, because we're living what did happen, but all the things that didn't happen. So when Saint was asking you, okay, what do you see? What don't you see? What's not here? What's not being shown? So much of what we see all around us is obscuring so much that could be. So much that we see in the media is a result of things that are left out. So, what we do is, when we go back and re-inhabit these memories, what we find that it's good for, in the process, just being physical and just using different elements of touch is really good for not only physically repatterning associations, traumatic associations with memory, but also really getting to discuss fear, really getting to the heart of what goes on for all of us. And that, I think, is a lot more effective than just going straight for closure. Because a lot of times when we try to complete the story, bring it to a happy ending, we're conditioned to do this. But if we think about the open-endedness, which is our life, right? We have to think about what's not there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next performance, or our next thing, is a reading by Caitlin Berrigan from her new book, which is entitled Imaginary Explosions.
So I'd just like to dedicate tonight to the women and children at the border fleeing domestic violence, and we can do much better for them. It can only be described in a number of imaginary explosions. It is like flying through winter, but it is July. I will not be born for another year. The gray and white clouds are heavy, but do not adhere. They will continue to reach higher altitudes as my mother descends and sees through the window a hole, mostly black. At the center is a still orange spot, light from melted stone. It is quiet and bright, but not sharp enough to hurt the eyes. I would have wanted the plane to tip and let gravity take me in. But my mother has never transformed the aftershocks of violence against her into self-annihilation. However, she might claim that she didn't fly over a volcano, but instead a secret geological site where the military has just made Earth its new weapon. These low-altitude passes named by white settlers turned cannibals seem quaint, now that we can cut straight through rock. Donner Pass, Jubilee Pass, Ibex Pass, the old Spanish highway. Here I can drive 100 miles per hour and feel like nothing is moving, least of all tectonic time. Even at this speed in a car, which is a body of metal, it surges in my sight, this dense, dark streak of vitreous pumice, trapped below layers of earth that account for all of human time and deeper. Not even the Shoshone Indians would have memory of this eruption in the Miocene that plated the desert with an undulating tuff of black glass. It would be invisible if it weren't for the desire to transport petroleum through these incised road cuts that make up the dry, sectional anatomy of Death Valley Highway. But the faults in this basin are young and unpredictable. From a vista in Joshua Tree, people watch them crashing into one another. From there you can see the earth collide as a spectacle of muscular snakes. This is no natural disaster. It is just the natural consequence of two people fucking, having fucked. Fuck the tourists and their picnics. Fuck this measured green leisure. Fuck all the children discovering the softness of grass. It is the profession of geologists to measure seismic activity in anticipation of the next blast. Eve Rose Fleury wears a cloth binding her midsection in an effort to contain her sorrow. The buildings ignore the fact of a fault beneath them. One way to make a world white. Concrete is, after all, just sand glued together with voids for living. They are no match for the willed impoverishment of a black nation. And with a shake of the earth, a form returns to aggregate, matter in parts collapsed into itself, amidst the dark limbs of bodies blanched white with dust. Exertion holds together the rib cage, walls winged around a molten organ. By day the world is alert, a conscious labor to maintain proportion. But for one whole year it is only possible to sleep on the belly, to keep from cracking open at night. The integrity of the body is sustained by the weight of its own matter sunk against the mattress. One block of butter will last through a month. The fat I melt on toast each morning, I wake to find myself alive. Even an entirety must have an edge. Just as the continents drifted before, leaving a line against water, California. It will happen again. They've been predicting it all of our lives and even before. All the faults will split at once and drop California into the ocean. Cliff crumbs, crumb cliffs. But before half of it is submerged underwater, California will burn. Because we grow up in a drought 7 years long, because what we think are rocks burst into crystallized dust under the pressure between our fingertips. Our bodies have a thirst to be immersed in water. All the creeks are dry, and anyway, we are too young to know they ever carried water. But there is a private reservoir, still full. I learned from her the practice of disobedience, how to switch off the motion detector light on the porch, how to move in a way to be mistaken for an animal. There is nothing but night in the mountains at night. Hardly headlights or a bulb to captivate a moth. No fences, only trees. But the property lines are known. The children may run through the woods along paths made by deer, but only one creature will be punished for trespass. Heat from their bodies cannot evaporate the wet evidence of the reservoir on their skin. I can't imagine that a 12-year-old with braces would give a good blowjob. But I can imagine that under threat of a neighbor with a gun in the night in the mountains at night, that she might find it doable. After annihilation, I am becoming mineral.
This next performance is called Walking on Broadway, Battery Place to 220th Street, October 2017, an excerpt. It's by Nobutaka Aozaki, performed with Yuriko Katori and Allyson Paty.
City
Chipotle,
Felico
Starbucks,
Zucchini,
New
Berkshire
York
Land,
Transit Museum,
New York
Wow.
Wine Exchange, Subway,
HSBC,
Cafe Plaza Deli, Cipriani,
New
Planet
York Film
Fitness,
Academy,
Retail
Stir
for
Cafe,
Rent, Bangkok,
Bento
America,
Sushi,
Bank
Chase,
America,
Gregory
Joanne Reed,
Coffee, Fresh & Co.,
New
Work
York
in
Gifts,
Progress, Pret
TGI
a
Friday,
Manger,
China
UFT,
Challenge, Cafe
Amalgamated
Exchange,
Bank, The
Spirit,
King's College,
Fidelity
Work in
Investment,
Progress Residential,
R by R Reality, Retail for Lease, New York Diamond Center, Bean and Bean Coffee, Signature Bank, Trinity
TD Bank,
Church,
Dwayne Reed, TD
Retail for Lease,
Ameritrade, Citibank,
Joshua Bank,
Silverstein
Starbucks,
Properties, Retail space
HSBC,
available, Brown
Zuccotti
Brothers
Park,
Harriman,
One
I
Liberty
Heart
Plaza,
Gifts, Bank of America, Modell's, Milk and Honey Food Bar, McDonald's, Gap,
Bento
The
Sushi,
Vitamin Shop,
Century
Capital One
21,
Bank, Work
Preta
in
Mangera,
Progress Commercial,
Aldo,
William Barthman Jeweler,
Work
Urban
in Progress
Outfitters,
Demolition,
TD Bank,
Anthropology,
PNC Bank,
Retail
Fulton
for
Center,
Lease, Saint
Chase,
Paul Chapel,
Zara,
Staples,
Millennium Park,
New York Sports Club, AT&T, Apple Gourmet, Renaissance Jewelry, First Republic Bank,
City Hall
Starbucks,
Park,
Papyrus, Woolworths Building, T-Mobile, Duane Reade,
City
Citibank,
Hall,
Chase, Retail for Lease, Retail space available, Bolton's, TD Bank, Bank
City
of
Hall
America,
Park,
Retail available, Store for Rent, Chase, Capital One
Modell's,
Bank,
New
Chipotle,
York Department of Building,
Harrison
Potbelly
Wellness,
Sandwich Shop,
CrossFit, Work in
Retail
Progress
space
Mixed
available.
Use,
African
Starbucks,
Burial Ground National Monument,
Andy's Deli, GNC, Verizon Wireless,
Ted
Solitaire
Weiss
Jewelry,
Federal Building,
Lockless,
IRS,
Duane Reade,
26 Federal Plaza,
Atomic Wings, 7-Eleven, Broadway Spirits, La Pelaza Pizza, McDonald's, Preta Mangera, Boutique Yvette, Dunkin' Donuts, Bibi Bubble Tea, Aromed, Burger King, Witchcraft,
Santander
HSBC,
Bank,
Monshare
the UPS
Market,
Store,
Prime
Broadway
Essential,
Cleaners, Work in Progress Residential,
AT&T,
Coffee, Model
Passport
Management,
Photo,
Retail
Leonardo
space
News,
available for lease,
Work in
NYC
Progress,
Best Deal,
Retail space available, Work
Retail
in
space
Progress
available for
Residential,
lease,
Space
Gourmet
for
Garage,
Rent, Work in
K&M,
Progress Residential, Broadway
Retail for
Downtown
lease.
Pharmacy,
Harley
Ricky's,
Davidson of New York City,
Keller Wheeler NYC, Joey Pepperoni Pizza, Store
Shoshana,
for Rent,
Eden
Work in
Day
Progress
Spa,
Commercial,
Ms.
Retail
Lou's
space available,
NYC,
Marine
Western
Gets,
Spirits,
Pearl
Kettle
River Mart,
Kickboxing,
Work in progress hotel.
Unlimited
Apicha.
jeans.
Canal furniture.
Starbucks.
Chipotle. Space available.
Chase.
Transit.
Champion Park.
OMG. Store for rent. Empire luggage.
Space for
Cafe
lease.
Bari. Bank of
$4.19
America.
gift and hats. $4.21
footwear.
Broadway luggage. Store for
OMG.
rent.
Sacred
Steve Madden.
tattoo. WeWork.
Workroom
Retail for
NYC. Nike.
Muji.
Curated
Foot Locker.
community of vendors.
Necessary
G-Star Row.
clothing.
Necessary
Kin
clothing.
Space
Workplace.
available for lease.
Jubilee
Spirit.
Marketplace.
Space
Retail
for
space
lease.
available.
Valley
CB2.
National Bank. Michael K. Store for rent.
Muji.
Mystique
Innovation.
NYC.
Yoga
Saga
Walls.
Shoes.
Juan
Savon.
Lee.
Work
Wells
in
Fargo.
progress commercial.
Bose.
Aldo.
Retail space available.
Lissac Paris. Office space available. Timberland.
Space
Citibank.
available for lease.
Top
Lululemon
Shop.
Athletica.
J.
Broadway
Crew.
Market Company. US
Madewell.
Polo ASSM. Rituals.
Armani Box NYC. Yves
Mystique
Saint Laurent.
Boutique. Levi's.
Pandora. Sunglass
Brandy
Hut.
Melville. Capital
Galleria
One Bank.
Melissa.
Store for rent.
Bloomingdale's.
Zara.
White House Black Market. Stance. All
Too Faced.
Saints.
H&M.
Store
Asics.
for rent.
Store for
Michael
lease.
Kors.
Lady Foot
Aritzia.
Locker. Chase. Nike.
Skechers. AT&T.
Lucky
Sample
Brand
Sale.
Jeans.
Club
Guess.
Monaco.
Lacoste.
Steve Madden. Office space available.
The Vintage
OMG.
Twin. Soho
Ferrari.
retail space available. Commercial
Uniqlo.
space for rent. Clerks.
HSBC.
Hugo
Banana
Boss.
Republic.
Sephora.
Aldo.
Scholastic.
H&M.
Mango.
Converse.
Pink.
Dean and DeLuca. Artist Fleas.
And other
Skincare
stories.
Lab. Forever
Retail
21.
space available. Retail
Bershka.
for lease.
Express.
Verizon. Under
Broadway
Armour.
Gourmet Food Market.
Bank of
Ricky's.
America.
Desi
Victoria's Secret.
Blanc. Lissac.
Fast Stop. Billabong.
Bonjour Jewelry. Dwayne
American
Reed.
Eagle Outfitter.
Asanda Aveda Spa Lounge. Hollister. Work in progress commercial.
Crate and
Adidas.
Barrel.
Store
Kaplan
for
International.
Best
Chase.
Buy.
Chipotle. Retail
Journeys.
space available.
Urban Outfitters. PetSmart. Retail
Cariloha.
space available.
Noho
Swatch.
Convenience Store. Noho Wines and Spirits. Noho Hair Salon. Coco
Retail
and
space
Crew.
available. Jack's
Sweetwater
New York.
Social. Hans Deli. Retail for lease. Gregory
Wendy's.
Coffee. Eyes
Mattress
on Broadway. Maria Tash.
Firm.
Hat
An original penguin.
Club. Lay's.
Space available for lease.
Starbucks. It's Sugar. Unlimited
Retail for
Employment
lease.
Action Center.
OMG. Retail space available. GNC.
La
Pop-up
Basket.
space available.
Evolution.
Store
Ms.
for rent.
Moods.
Work
Retail
in
space for
progress
lease.
residential.
Duane
Build
Reed.
desires.
Hebrew
Spectrum.
Union College.
rumble, retail space for lease, retail for rent, retail for rent, retail for lease.
Our next and last performance for the evening, definitely not least, is entitled But I Still Love You Always, and is by Jesus Benavente.
Back and tempt the hand of fate. on my pillow, pain in my heart caused by you. Love is not a gadget. Love is not a toy. When you find the one.
all. Thank you.
Everybody, let's thank Ellie. Okay, she did an amazing job. It was such an honor working with her, and all the artists, of course.
Yes, really, it was so wonderful to work on this project, and amazing to get to organize this evening and have all of you here. Enjoy the view, stay, talk to the artists. Many of the contributing artists are here. Contributing artists, if you don't yet know, there are tote bags with journals for you. So you should get one definitely before you leave. And everyone else should definitely take a journal. And we're having an after party at the Topaz in Brooklyn, so please join us. It's as soon as we all get there. Anything else? Okay, have fun.